Hare Krishna. Text 18. Liberation from ignorance and suffering. कुंती उवाच भवे अस्मिन् क्लिश्यमानान् अविद्या कामकर्माभिः श्रवणस्मरण अर्हानि करिष्यान् इति केचनः. And yet others say that you appear to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. भवे अस्मिन् क्लेश्यमनानाम् अविद्या कामकर्माभिः श्रवण स्मरण अर्हानि करिष्यान् इति केचनः. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.35. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asserts that He appears in every millennium just to re-establish the way of religion. The way of religion is made by the Supreme Lord. No one can manufacture a new path of religion, as is the fashion for certain ambitious persons. The factual way of religion is to accept the Lord as the supreme authority and thus render service unto Him in spontaneous love. A living being cannot help but render service because he is constitutionally made for that purpose. The only function of the living being is to render service to the Lord. The Lord is great and living beings are subordinate to Him. Therefore, the duty of the living being is just to serve Him only. Unfortunately, the illusioned living beings, out of misunderstanding only, become servants of the senses by material desire. This desire is called avidya or nescience. And out of such desire, the living beings makes different plans for material enjoyment centered about a perverted sex life. He therefore becomes entangled in the chain of birth and death by transmigrating into different bodies on different planets under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Unless therefore one is beyond the boundary of this nescience, one cannot get free from the threefold miseries of material life. That is the law of nature. The Lord, however, out of His causeless mercy, because He is more merciful to the suffering living beings than they can expect, appears before them and renovates the principles of devotional service comprised of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, cooperating, and surrendering unto Him. Adoption of all the above mentioned items or any one of them can help a conditioned soul get out of the tangle of nescience and thus become liberated from all material sufferings created by the living being illusioned by the external energy. This particular type of mercy is bestowed upon the living being by the Lord in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this very important verse, the words bhave asmin mean in this material world. The word bhava also means grow, and it refers to that which has taken birth. In the material world, there are 6 kinds of changes. First, there is birth, then growth, and then that which has been born has grown, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, and then dwindles and finally vanishes. These 6 changes are called Shadvikara. The body, for example, takes birth at a certain date and then it grows and stays for some time. From the body comes so many byproducts in the form of sons and daughters, and then the body becomes old and weak, and finally, when it is very old, it dies. But when the body is finished, I am not finished. When the gross body comes to an end, I am still present within the subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego, and this subtle body carries me to another gross body. Although everyone has to accept a subtle body, the scientists and medical men cannot see it. I have a mind and you have a mind, but I cannot see your mind and you cannot see mine. I have intelligence and you have intelligence, but you cannot see my intelligence nor can I see yours because they are very subtle. Similarly, the spirit soul is still more subtle, so what will the materialistic scientists see of it? They cannot see the mind, intelligence, or false ego. What to speak of the soul? Therefore, they say the body is everything and there is nothing more. Actually, however, this is not a fact. The fact is that the spirit soul is very very small. Balagra satabhagasya satadha kalpitasya cha Shvetara Upanishad 5.9. The soul is 1/10,000 the size of the tip of a hair. Suppose we were to take a hair and divide it into 100 parts. Could we do it? No, that is not possible. But we could do it and then divide it again into another 100 parts. Each part would be the size of the spirit soul. Of course, this is not possible to understand by experimental knowledge. So how can it be learned? One must learn of this from an authority. Our knowledge is so perfect that it cannot deal it imperfect that it cannot deal with such subtle affairs, and because rascals cannot deal with such things, they think that matter is the cause of life. Nonetheless, they have not been able to demonstrate that life comes from the matter. Let them take chemicals in the laboratory and produce even a small insect with hands, legs, and eyes. Every night we see many of such small insects with legs and eyes with which they approach the light. From such small insects up to Brahma, there are 84 lakh different forms of life, among which we are traveling from body to body, leaving one body and entering another, as stated by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Tatha Dehantara Prapti. Therefore, either we must reject Krishna's word or reject all the so-called scientific theories that life comes from matter. But we are placed to Krishna consciousness and therefore we cannot reject Krishna's word. We accept Krishna when he says that we have to travel from one body to another. Every living entity within this material world is under the influence of avidya, ignorance. Avidya karma samdnya tritaya shaktirishyate. God Krishna has many millions of potencies. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate. And they have been summarized into three categories: the external potency, the internal potency, and the marginal potency. The marginal potency and the internal potency are of the same spiritual quality, but the third potency, the external potency, is inferior. Vishnu Shaktir para prokta kshetrajna tatha para avidya karma sandnetnya tritiya shakti rishyate. Vishnu Puran 6.7.61. In this material world, everyone is in ignorance, avidya. Even Brahma was ignorant until he was given knowledge by Krishna. Therefore, no one should be proud of his knowledge. Everyone in this material world is a rascal. A particular living entity desires, if I can get the opportunity to obtain the boast of Brahma, then I can create a big universe. Thus, he receives the body of Brahma and the small insect thinks, if I can create a small hole within this room, then I can live very peacefully and eat. Thus, Brahma desires to create a universe, we desire to create a skyscraper, and an ant desires to create a hole in a room, but the quality of the work is the same. We are all fools. However, because we do not realize that because these things are material, they will not last. Because of ignorance, we think this will be very nice, that will be very nice. Kama karma bhi. We create some desire, kama, and then we work accordingly. This results in so many difficulties. Klishyanti. To become Brahma is not a very easy thing. Brahma is such a big post and it is given to very qualified living entities, highly advanced in austerities and penance. But he is also a living entity like us. In America, there are many citizens, and President Ford is also a citizen. By dint of his ardent labor and diplomacy, he captured the post. Still, he is an ordinary citizen. President Nixon, for example, has now been dragged down and is no longer president. This is because he was an ordinary citizen. Similarly, if you like, we may also become Brahma. Therefore, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Kit janma aho yatha tuva das bahirmukha Brahma janme nahi ash. Let me become an insect in a place where your devotee is present, because if I fall down in the dust of the feet of a devotee, my life will be successful. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Bahirmukha Brahma Janme Nahi Asha. I do not want to become a Brahma and not be a devotee of Krishna. Because we are in ignorance, Maya, at any time we may forget Krishna. Therefore, we must always engage in Krishna consciousness so that we shall not forget him. That is indicated by Kunti Devi by the word Shravana Smarana Arhani. The word Shravana means hearing, Smarana means remembering, and Arhana means worshipping the deity of Krishna. One should always engage himself in hearing about, remembering, and worshipping Krishna. All the centers of the Krishna consciousness movement are open only for this purpose, to facilitate chanting, dancing, and worshipping so that we shall not forget Krishna. Sada tad bhava bhavitaha. If you always think of Krishna, there is a chance that we shall remember Krishna at the end of life. Ante Narayana Spritihi. Everything takes practice. For example, if one wants to dance on the stage, one has to perform many rehearsals to practice how to dance. Then if one becomes an expert dancer, when one dances on stage, one will receive acclaim. Ah, very good dancer. But one cannot say, I shall go immediately go to the stage and become a good dancer. That is not possible. One may say, no, I shall not attend the rehearsal. Just give me the stage and I shall perform. But the director will not allow this. For one cannot become a good dancer without practice. The real purpose of life is to remember Krishna when one's life comes to an end. Ante Narayana Spriti. If at the time of death one can remember Krishna, one's life is successful. In this material world, one must suffer from material miseries, but rascals do not care to understand this, for they are absorbed in ignorance. A smuggler may go on with his work even though he knows that he will be arrested and punished. A thief may know that he will be arrested and punished for criminal acts, and he may even have been punished several times, but still he will commit the same crime again. Punah punascharvita charvananam. Why? Ignorance. He is much absorbed in ignorance that he does not think I am repeatedly stealing and being repeatedly arrested and sent to jail to be punished. Why am I doing this? The result is not good. A person who is too much sexually inclined may suffer from many times from venereal disease and have to undergo treatment, but still he will go to a prostitute again. This is Abhaya Stri Sangha, illegitimate sex. But even legitimate sex involves so many difficulties. After sex, a woman becomes pregnant and has to suffer for 10 months. And at the time of delivery, there is also sometimes very great danger. And the father, after the child is born, must take care of the child and work hard to provide for its education. Therefore, the Vedic literature says, Bahu dukha bhajaha. After sex, legitimate or illegitimate, there are so many troubles. Trapyanti neha kripanaha. But one who is an ignorant rascal will not be satisfied. Instead, he will do the same things again and again. Punah punascharvita charvananam. This is called Bhava Roga, the disease of material existence. Yan maithunadi grahamedhi sukham hi tucham Kandu yanena karyor eva dukha dukkham. Bhagavatam 7.9.45. In the Vedic civilization, therefore, small boys are trained to remain brahmachari, celibate, and not involve themselves in the trouble of sex. But if one is unable to remain brahmachari, he is allowed to marry. After being trained in the beginning as a brahmachari, he will not stay for many years in family life, but will very soon become vanaprastha, retired, and then accept sannyasa, the renounced order of life. In this material world, everyone is suffering. The birds, the bees, the trees, the animals, the planets, and even Brahma and Indra. Indra is also not safe. He is always in anxiety about competitors who may come. Tat sadhu manne asura varya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asadagrahat. Bhagavatam 7.5.5. Why is everyone in this material world always in anxiety? Avidya kama karma bhi, because they are rascals. Therefore Krishna says, you rascal, give up all your nonsense and surrender unto me. This is Krishna's very good mercy. He is the Supreme Father. Therefore, he directly says, Sarva Guhyatamam. This is the most confidential knowledge. Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. You rascal, give up everything and simply surrender unto me. Therefore, Kunti says, you have come to teach rascals like this and engage them in hearing, remembering, and worship. This is bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. One should hear and chant about Vishnu, Krishna. But as soon as devotees begin to hear and chant about Vishnu, some rascal Swami will say, no, hearing or chanting my any name will do. Why Vishnu? Why not Kali? In Bengal, there is a group of people who have invented Kali Kirtana, chanting the name of the demigod Kali. What is this nonsense? In the Vedic literature, there is no such thing as Kali Kirtana. Kirtana means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing and chanting about Krishna. The Vedic literature recommends Hare Nama, chanting of the holy name of Hari Krishna, and no one else. This Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, was described very nicely by Sukdev Goswami in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.15. He said, Yat Kirtanam, Yad Smarnam, Yat Ikshanam, Yat Vandanam, Yat Shravanam, Yad Arhanam, Lakshayash Sadayo Vidunoti Kalmasam, Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namoho Namaha. Before speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukdev Goswami offered his obeisances to Krishna with this verse. He said, I offer my obeisances unto him, for simply hearing of him is Subhadra, auspicious. The entire Bhagavatam is glorification of Krishna, and this is glorification by Sukdev Goswami. He says that no one can be perfectly purified if one either glorifies Krishna, meditates upon him, or simply sits before the deity of Krishna and sees him, thinking, how nicely dressed is Krishna, how nicely dressed is Radharani. If one has no ability to chant, or if one's mind is so disturbed that one cannot fix it upon Krishna, one is given this chance. Here is the deity, simply see him. If one is engaged in the service of deity, there is a good chance of always seeing him 24 hours a day. While cleansing the temple floor of the temple, while dressing the deity, while bathing the deity, or while offering him food, one will always see him. This is the process of devotional service. But people are such fallen rascals that they do not even go to see the deities. Oh, they think, what is this deity worship? It is idol worship. They may worship the statue of Gandhi or someone else, but when asked to come to see the worship of the deity, they will say, no, this is idol worship. I've seen that in Calcutta, in Chaurangi Square, there is a statue of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee. Throughout the year, the crows pass stool on his face and the stool becomes caked on. So on one day a year, the ordinary sweepers cleanse the statue with their brush in the morning, and in the evening, some big men come and garland him with flowers. Then after that evening they go away, and again the next morning the crows come to pass stool on his face. So this kind of worship is accepted, sweeping the face of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee with municipal brush. But if we install the deity of Krishna and worship him nicely, people will say that this is idol worship. So people are embarrassed by being entangled in with their ignorance. And the method by which to educate them and rescue them from the clutches of this ignorance is devotional service. As explained by Sukdev Goswami, one may chant the name of Krishna or meditate upon Krishna, or if one cannot meditate, one may simply sit down and see Krishna. Even a child can see, here is Krishna, here is Radharani. Even a small child or even an animal can do this and benefit. Or if one is more intelligent, one may offer prayers, and if one is expert and has been trained by a spiritual master, one may perform appropriate worship. Christians and Muslims are also Vaishnavas, devotees, because they offer prayers to the Lord. Oh God, they say, give us our daily bread. Those who offer this prayer may not know very much and may be at a lower stage, but this is a beginning because they have approached God. Going to a church or mosque is also pious. Chatur Vidya Bhajante Mam Janha Sukritino Arjuna. Therefore, those who begin in this way will one day become pure Vaishnavas, but the atheistic propaganda that one should not go to a church, temple or mosque is very dangerous to human society. One may not be very advanced, but one should try at least to do something to understand God. A child is sent to school, and although he may simply learn ABCD if he is interested, he may one day become a very good scholar. Similarly, one day a pious man may become a pure devotee. Why should one give up religion altogether, become completely secular, and simply open a factory in which to manufacture nuts and bolts and work very hard and think and drink and eat meat? What kind of civilization is this? It is because of this so-called civilization that people are suffering. It is by ignorance that people think that by opening factories they will be happy. Why should they open factories? There is no need. There is so much land and one can produce one's own food grains and eat sumptuously without any factory. Milk is also available without a factory. The factory cannot produce milk or grains. The present scarcity of food in the world is largely due to such factories. When everyone is working in the city to produce nuts and bolts, who will produce food grains? Simple living and high thinking is the solution to economic problems. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is engaging devotees in producing their own food and living self-sufficiently so that rascals may see how one can live very peacefully, eat the food grains one has grown oneself, drink milk and chant Hare Krishna. The process of Krishna consciousness should be very vigorously propagated all over the world. Simply by seeing the deity or simply by joining the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, people will derive tremendous benefit. If one performs kirtana chanting, one will be able to think of Krishna. One may think, I danced for 2 hours and chanted Hare Krishna. What is the meaning of this? This is smarana, thinking of Krishna. One may even think, I foolishly chanted Krishna Krishna for 2 hours, but that is also smarana because the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading. People are purchasing our books about Krishna because they are curious. They say, what is this Krishna? Let us see the book. Then they immediately see a picture of Radha and Krishna, and if they open the book, they will see more. In the book, there are many prayers glorifying Krishna. So some will hear about Krishna and others will read, and if they are fortunate enough, they will become Krishna conscious and engage in the worship of the deity. These methods of devotional service, hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna and so on are so perfect that as soon as one takes to them, either all of them, some of them or even one of them, one becomes purified. Therefore, Shukdev Goswami prays, I offer my worship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for simply by remembering Him, simply by glorifying Him, or simply by seeing Him, so many benefits follow. Shukdev Goswami is one of 12 important spiritual authorities, Mahajanas. And these are the authorities we must follow. Mahajano ena gataha sapantaha. He affirms that by performing these methods of devotional service, one will be cleansed of material contamination. When? Sadhyaha, immediately, without waiting. This is the great benefit of the Krishna consciousness movement. So let us see what Kunti Maharani said. Bhave asmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma bhihi shravana smarana arhani karishyan iti kechana. And yet others say that you appear to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping and so on in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. भवे अस्मिन् क्लिश्यमनानाम् अविद्या काम कर्माभिः श्रवण स्मरण अर्हानि करिष्यान इति केचन. Hare Krishna. We'll continue further tomorrow.